Okay, today I want to do some kind of rapid fire session skate sim tricks, tips, and secrets and little unknown things that some people might have missed. Now this is kind of catered to newcomers, but there might be some stuff that even veteran players don't know about because session doesn't really tell you a lot, so some things you have to go and find for yourself. So let's just get straight into it. First off, we're going to talk about slappies. A lot of people always ask me how I do slappies in session skate sim, like this. Well, it's actually really simple. You got to go into your options, experimental settings, and you got to make sure you have lip tricks enabled. With this enabled, it means that you can do lip tricks on transition like that, but it also means that any curb or any kind of ledge or rail that is lower than your board, it then kind of treats it like coping. So if you slide onto it, as you can see, you can grind it, you can no slide it, you can tail slide it. It does take a little bit of practice to get good at slappies in this game, and they can be a little bit buggy at times, as you can see. But just try and find a nice curve like this one that comes down to a slant like this, so you can just practice riding on and sliding onto it. Okay, now I want to talk about flip direction, because this is something that is really important to know in session, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, especially if you're new to the game. So there is 3 different ways to do flip tricks in this game. If I flick quite up on a kickflip, you will see that it is a nice boned kind of kickflip. You catch it with that back foot and you have this nice kind of boned landing to it. If I flick to the side, it's just a pretty standard kind of flat kickflip. And if I flick downwards, you'll see that the kickflip actually rockets. And now this goes for every single flip trick. So for example, on a tray flip, if I flick more up, you do have more of that kind of boned, but it's also more of like a vertical tray flip. If I flick to the side, it's just more of a standard kind of flat tray. If you flick down, you get a kind of weird looking tray flip. I'm not really a fan of this one, but it is a way of doing a different type of tray flip if you want to. Now, it's really useful to know the flick direction for getting in and out of manuals and grinds. If I want to kickflip into nose manual, I'm going to want to flick up so that I bone it. So I land on the nose of the board. As you can see, because I flicked up and I boned the kickflip, it automatically just dips down into that nose manual, so you can get into it much better. If I want to just land flat without any manuals, then flicking to the side is better. And if I want to land into a regular mani, then rocketing that kickflip means that I get into it without tapping those front trucks, because I just naturally land on those back wheels. And then of course the same applies to grinds. Flick up to land more naturally into a crook or a nose grind. Sideways for 50-50. And then for a nice 5-0 without dipping the board, rocket the kickflip. And then we're not dipping when we get into the 5-0, we just get in nice and clean. Next up, we're going to be talking about map layouts, because there's actually a couple different versions of the Brooklyn Banks area of the New York map. First off, you just have the normal default version of Brooklyn Banks, which gives you all this space. There's not too much going on here, but you just have a lot of kind of flat ground and things like that. But there is actually a different version that I know a lot of people don't actually know about. So head into your options, head down to experimental settings, head down to map layouts. And you can see here you have Brooklyn Bank scenario and you have Philly holiday scenario. We're going to check out both, but change this from unloaded to loaded, and then it will load you back into the map. And then straight away you will see that there's this whole new section added on to the Brooklyn Banks map. There's a bunch of stairs, handrails, and it just adds a bunch more to this section of the map. And you can get some pretty nice lines on this thing as well. It's a pretty big section, but if you actually head over to this side of the map, there is also a hidden little mini ramp that has appeared. And we're going to be talking more about mini ramps in this video, because there is a few more mini ramps that I want to show you guys for anybody that likes skating transition. For the next alternative map layout, we are heading to Philadelphia. Okay, so if we head into Love Park, we of course just have the standard setup here, which has nothing in the middle. It's just an empty fountain. But if we head into options again, experimental map layouts, and we go to Philly holiday scenario, change that to loaded. Now this one is of course very seasonal, but we now have a Christmas tree in the middle of Love Park. It does look so much better if you change it to nighttime as well with the lights, so it's very, very cool. I believe that this is the only change on this map. I'm not too sure if there's other lights around the city, but I think it's just this one Christmas tree. But if you want to make a Christmas edit in December, now you can add a little Christmas tree to it as well. Okay, but back to talking about mini ramps, because there is a couple other mini ramps that darted about that are kind of hidden away. that you might not know about. If we head to the San Francisco map and head to the San Francisco skate shop, which is just here. I'd say most people probably know about this one, but just in case you missed it, this actually has quite a lot to skate in here. But if you head to the back here, hop over this chain, there is also a little mini ramp hidden back here. But there is one more mini ramp that is actually quite hidden away, and we gotta head back to New York and go to the Jerome Banks map. Okay, so once you get into the Jerome Banks map, you want to head all the way down to the bottom here, and you want to go to this brick building on the right. You're going to want to open up the object dropper and get an object that is good for using as an elevator. This one is the best kind of object for picking up your skater because you won't fall out of it. So hop back into the object dropper and then use this as an elevator or UFO. It looks more like a UFO, I guess. So you bring yourself up to this rooftop. I know you can't see anything right now, but I promise you there is a mini ramp here. As you can see, it's starting to appear. The closer we get, it just kind of appears. And there you go. We have like a ghost mini ramp. Now, what's interesting about this one and different from the others is this one doesn't have any coping. So it's kind of easier to skate in a way because you can just roll into it and you don't have any coping to get caught up on. Okay, next up we're going to talk about a hidden mission that you might have missed, and we got to head back to Brooklyn Banks for this one. Now, you can load directly into the skate park, but I'm going to go this way because there's a couple hidden entrances that you also might have missed. So if you head under the bridge here on Brooklyn Banks, you actually have a physical entrance into Creature Skate Park here. And everybody already knows this park. It's pretty cool. There's also an upstairs area where you can do some object dropper stuff. But something that you might have missed is if you turn around here, there is this poster. Head up to it, click read, and you now have a secret little mission for 100 XP. You don't get any money for it, unfortunately, but it's kind of like a little own the spot or something. So if you need some extra XP in the game, this is a nice little hidden objective that you can do. Now, this one is really simple, and I'd say most people know this, but I'm going to cover it anyway because some people always ask me how my animations look better than theirs, and this is just a simple setting. So if you head into options, you head into experimental, you'll see the first option here is skater physical animation. I have mine enabled. If I disable this, this will be the default animations that if you get session for the first time, your character is going to look like this. The animations are a lot stiffer. Your arms don't really move around much. It does mean that you're not going to be clipping through the body as much. They aren't as flowy looking as you can see. They're a bit more jaggedy and kind of, I don't know, they just don't look as smooth. So just head into those options, experimental settings, and enable skater physical animation. What this basically does is it just adds a little bit more wobbliness and physics to your character. So you can see that the arms are just a lot more kind of loose and flowy. And there's a little bit of jiggle to them, almost. Now, sometimes it can be like a little kind of unrealistic looking, and you'll also clip through your body. But honestly, all in all, I think it just looks a lot smoother than the default animations, and it just makes the game feel a little better, and it makes you flow a little better. Okay, so let's go into some more little kind of secrets you might not know. If we return to apartment here, there's actually some boards that glow in the dark, and this is a really cool little feature. So if we head to deck graphics, I should have one here already. Yep, so this is one of them here, the Heroin Black Eyes board. So in real life, this board actually glows in the dark, and they actually went ahead and put that detail in session. So if we enable this, head onto another map. Let's just go for the Prague map, why not? Obviously, it's daytime, so we can't see anything. So let's change the time of day. And there we go. We now have a glow-in-the-dark board, which looks really cool. So if you want to get some night clips, this is a good way to add a little bit of extra flair to them. Now, there is a couple other boards that glow in the dark as well. I'm not 100% sure which ones they are. So you can go and you can find them yourself in the shop. But yeah, there is a couple boards that glow in the dark. But I think this one personally is really cool. And it just looks really sick. Okay, I'm also going to quickly cover how I do big spins like this. Very smooth, kind of one nice clean motion. Basically, instead of doing a pop shove at 180 like that, you want to do the motion of a 3 shove, which means that you want to do a much wider scoop like that. It helps when you see the character get into that pressure flip position like that, because then you know you're going to do the right kind of motion. But yeah, basically you just want to do a nice wide 360 shove it scoop, and then you just want to rotate with it. Just make sure that you catch it early because obviously a big spin is just a single shove it. So you want to catch the board early before it does a 360 shove. But if you just watch the controller overlay, you'll see yourself that I'm doing a really kind of wide scoop. And yeah, so that's really all it is. Just keep practicing and you will get big spins to look this smooth as well. And you'll get them pretty consistently. Okay, now we're going to talk about the object dropper. Now, there's not too much really to show off, but you might not know that certain objects on certain maps are actually movable. Now, some objects are unique to the maps that we're on, like these benches, for example. If we head into create new object, you'll see that these benches aren't available as an object to get, and I don't believe you can buy those benches in the store at all. I think I've got pretty much every object here and you can't get them, but they are actually movable. So we can now move this pretty cool little concrete bench and let's put one at the end here. So if you want to know if something is actually movable, just head into the object dropper by pressing LB, and then if you just wait for a second, you'll see that any movable object will have a shine to it. So a lot of the world is quite static. You can't move these or anything, but it will sometimes surprise you. Like these picnic benches can be moved as well. Certain objects you'll know because they're in the object dropper, but things like these benches are pretty unique to the map, so that's always cool. I'm quickly going to run over some menu things because I feel like when people are new to games, and also just I do this all the time, generally you don't go into every single section of the menu and you end up missing a lot of settings and a lot of things that you didn't know were there. For example, there's quite a lot of extras in the sessions menus. So if you head to skater log here, of course you have your mission log for your actual missions. You have your challenges as well, daily, weekly, and a list of historical challenges on each map, which is very handy if you're trying to get every single historical challenge. The stats menu is actually pretty good, because the game actually tracks all of your flip tricks, your grinds, and pretty much just all your stats. How many times you've done certain tricks. Like I've only done 5,800 nollie flips, but I've done 21,100 kick flips. Yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to look and actually see how many tricks you've done. It also has them for grinds and stuff. Apparently I have done 3,000 frontside willies, so there you go. Also, if you go into skate guide, you have trick lists, so you can actually check all the tricks in the game and how to do them, which is pretty handy. It's not the easiest to follow, but you know, if you're figuring out how to do a certain trick, you can actually look and get the controls right there from the menu. Okay, so that is pretty much everything that I can think of in terms of some kind of tricks and tips and things that you might not have known about Session Skate Sim. If there's anything that you guys think I left out, please let me know in the comments below. So I hope that this video helped some people out. Let me know if there were some things that you didn't know about the game that you learned today. That'd be really cool to hear what you guys found out about it for the first time today in this video. Or maybe you're a veteran at this game and you already knew everything that I showed off today. Let me know in the comments below, guys. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.